As I have been covering for a number of weeks on this show, women's sport is under attack in Britain, and if we're not careful, its very existence could soon be threatened. Hard-left organisations like Stonewall, the woke mob, the politically correct and the Labour Party have decided trans rights trumps the rights of those born biologically female. And as a number of high-profile sports people, both trans women and women, have told me on this show, even years of hormone treatment doesn't reverse male puberty, putting women's sport on a slippery slope to extinction.
This isn't a sort of a cultural thing. This is about just straightforward fairness and biology. And feelings don't do sport. You know, our bodies do sport.
The reason sport is separated by sex is because males have massive physical advantages compared to females. So if women's sport did not exist, female athletes who are household names like myself, Paula Radcliffe, Sharon Davis, we would be nobodies. Nobody would have ever heard of us. So this is why women's sport exists.
We need to honor sport and recognize sex above gender in order to keep fairness in sport, unless we would like to not include women anymore.
We cannot have biological boys competing against women in women's sports. We need a fair playing field. And right now, if we allow this, it's not a fair playing field.
As a major supporter of women's sports, I have been clear on my view that there is no grey area on this. I'm all for an equal society. Trans competitors like Leah Thomas, like Laurel Hubbard and like Emily Bridges should be welcomed into specific trans events or compete against other biological males. But they simply cannot be allowed to compete against women. Sporting bodies must limit competitors to the biological sex in which they were born. And tonight, I can reveal sanity is prevailing after a major intervention from the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and critically on this issue, sport. So Nadine Dorries, in this exclusive interview with GB News, reveals her plans. Watch. How are you going to protect biological women in sport?
We're speaking to various sporting bodies about this. I am absolutely of the opinion that it is impossible for a trans woman to compete in women's sport. You can choose your gender and we will support you and help you to do that. We will give you all the love and compassion and support you need to get to that place. But you can't change your biology. You can't change that you were born male or you were born female. It is what it is. And I'm afraid even with those athletes who try to get their testosterone levels below, it still isn't the case that if somebody's been through puberty and they've developed through puberty, that it will make the significant difference. So I just don't believe that any trans, and we've seen it happen recently with cycling, the athletes have stood up, women athletes have stood up for themselves.
Sanity prevailed there.
Yeah.
But if Stonewall had their way, there would be a very different approach. So would it be possible that there might have to be a law at some point to protect female sport, women's sport? I would, I hate making laws. I'd really prefer it if, and I've got enough laws being made in this department. We're passing 5 bills, I think, and there haven't been 5 bills in the last 20 years. I would prefer the sporting bodies to come together, and actually I've asked for a round table with them to discuss this, so that they can come together with a compact and a joint agreement and reach a position which protects women athletes but also, shows compassion to those trans athletes and helps them to achieve the goals that they want to. Maybe that's having, trans categories. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that the bottom line is you can't have trans women competing in women's sport. I completely agree. Secretary of State, thank you so much.
Thanks.